What could make Kim Taehyung, or better known as V from BTS, shed tears in front of millions of eyes through a live broadcast? And why did Jungkook's seemingly shocked reaction raise more questions than answers? These are the questions that in recent times have haunted armies around the world, after an unexpected moment occurred during a Weverse live session that was supposed to be relaxed and full of joy. At first, nothing seemed strange. Taehyung appeared on screen with his signature smile, his hair looking slightly messy as if he had just finished a calming personal time. Fans were ready for light chat, spontaneous jokes, or even song snippets he often shared. But what appeared next was something far more surprising. Teary eyes, a voice that trembled briefly, and finally drops of tears that changed the atmosphere drastically. In an instant, the once warm vibe turned silent, full of questions. Viewers worldwide froze on their screens, trying to understand what the idol was actually going through. Not long after, Jungkook also appeared in the broadcast. His reaction? Shocked, confused, and at the same time worried. His gaze fixed on Taehyung only heightened the intensity of the moment. Armies immediately crowded social media with various speculations and theories. For some fans, that event was a reflection of how heavy the burden BTS members must carry. Though already global, they remain human with fragile feelings, mental pressures, and emotional needs often hidden from the public. This was not the first time Taehyung expressed feelings of loneliness or pressure, but crying in front of the camera is extremely rare, almost impossible for an idol of his global status. Jungkook's reaction became a separate topic of discussion. In the broadcast clip circulating widely, he seemed to want to move closer, as if wanting to give a hug, yet his hand was held back. This simple gesture sparked even further debate. Was Jungkook trying to protect Taehyung's privacy in front of the camera? Or was he himself unprepared to face the sudden emotional moment before millions of viewers? On the other hand, Taehyung's small whispers further deepened the mystery. Some believed he was trying to convey a direct message to ARMY. Others interpreted it as personal feelings too heavy to put into clear words. Whatever the meaning, the sincere expression managed to shake many hearts. Fans from various countries admitted to shedding tears as well, feeling as if sharing the same sadness. Meanwhile, discussions among armies grew wild. Some linked the event to uncertainties about BTS's future, especially during the military service period the members are undergoing. Others pointed to possible personal stress, exhaustion, or deep longing for groupmates. All those theories only reinforced the narrative that Taehyung's tears were not just a spontaneous moment, but the peak of accumulated feelings long suppressed. What made the moment even more historic was its authentic impression. There were no signs it was part of a performance or gimmick. Instead, the messiness, silence, and Jungkook's shock confirmed that what happened was raw reality. That is what made it so memorable. For BTS, balancing openness with fans and protecting privacy is always carefully guarded. They often share stories of struggles, but rarely reveal the deepest layers of personal wounds. That night, the boundary slightly opened, showing a human side rarely touched. Armies witnessed that their idols, no matter how great the achievements, can still feel fragile and hurt. Not long after the broadcast ended, social media timelines were full of prayers, support, and speculations. Hashtags like "We love you Taehyung" and "Stay strong Jungkook" trended in various countries. Fans wrote emotional messages, affirming they would always stand by their idols, in happiness as well as in tears. However, behind the wave of sympathy came warnings of the dangers of excessive speculation. Some fandom observers saw this event as proof of how fast wild interpretations spread in the digital era. Short video clips can spark thousands of theories, though the reality may not be as intense as imagined. But in this case, one thing was undeniable. Taehyung's tears were real, and Jungkook's shock was clearly visible. That moment is now recorded as one of the most emotional events in BTS's Weverse live history. Not just because of Taehyung's tears, but also because of Jungkook's gaze that, without words, conveyed care, panic, and confusion. A simple moment that revealed how fragile the human heart can be, even for those considered unshakable on stage. The question now is, will Taehyung give further clarification? Will Jungkook speak about what really happened? Or will it remain a mystery only they both truly understand? One thing is certain, ARMY will never forget that night. A night when the world saw the tears of a superstar and the shock of his friend that could not be hidden in the end. This incident is a very strong reminder. Behind the spotlight and grandeur of the stage, idols are still human. They have pain, burdens, and fragile moments that sometimes surface uncontrollably. And when that happens, the world can only watch, empathize, and hope they find the strength to keep moving. After the shocking broadcast ended, the world seemed to pause for a moment. Armies from different parts of the globe replayed the recording endlessly, enlarging every expression, interpreting every second of that rare moment. For them, it was not just Taehyung's tears that struck, but also how Jungkook reacted with a gaze hard to describe. Confused, scared, yet full of care since that night, discussions have never ceased. Online community groups, international forums, even mainstream media have talked about the event with extraordinary intensity. Some called it a sign that BTS is in the toughest phase of their journey. Others saw it as a real reflection of the psychological pressure often faced by K-pop idols. Whatever the interpretation, one thing is clear. This event unveiled emotional layers rarely seen from BTS members. Interestingly, ARMY responses split into two major camps. First, those demanding direct explanations from hybe or BTS members themselves. They believed tears on screen could not appear without serious reasons. Second, fans who chose not to demand further clarification, instead focusing on giving full support. To them, privacy is what Taehyung and Jungkook most need now. The evidence of how big the impact was as clear from digital interaction data. In less than 24 hours, hundreds of thousands of tweets with special hashtags flooded Twitter. X, fan art uploads appeared on Instagram, and fan reaction videos were posted on TikTok. Even foreign media highlighted the phenomenon, calling it a fragile moment that transcends superstardom. Yet behind the sea of sympathy, there were stern warnings from media analysts. They argued this case is a perfect example of how fandom culture can inflate narratives far beyond the facts. Short video clips, facial expressions, and normal hand gestures can turn into long theories about internal group problems. The speed of digital information spread makes speculation seem more real than reality itself. Regardless of debates, one thing cannot be ignored. The moment strengthened the emotional bond between BTS and ARMY. Taehyung's tears, though brief, made millions feel closer to him. Jungkook's shocked reaction further showed their human side. This is why BTS is always called more than just a boy band. They are a mirror of the feelings of millions of youth worldwide. Now, all eyes are on the next step. Will Taehyung speak in future broadcasts to explain what he truly felt? Will Jungkook also give a statement, or remain silent to protect his friend's privacy? Or will the agency release an official statement to calm speculations? As of now, the questions still hang in the air. Unanswered. One thing undeniable is that the incident left a permanent mark in the history of BTS's interaction with ARMY. The night when Taehyung shed tears and Jungkook looked shocked will always be remembered as an emotional turning point. A reminder that even though they stand at the top of the world, they remain humans who can be fragile, hurt, and cry. After the noise on social media, attention shifted to how media and analysts interpreted the emotional moment. Some South Korean entertainment news portals highlighted it with big headlines, calling Taehyung's tears the most shocking event on BTS's interaction platform. International media also followed, from America to Europe, framing it as a reminder that even global superstars are not immune to emotional pressure. Pop culture analysts pointed out one interesting pattern. An idol's tears are not only symbols of personal sadness, but also reflections of the entertainment industry's heavy system. In their view, what appeared on screen was just the tip of the iceberg of the great burden carried by each BTS member. Psychologists also spoke up. Some said that crying moments in public spaces often occur not just due to deep sadness, but also as emotional release after long periods of holding feelings. For Taehyung, sitting alone in front of a camera, surrounded by millions of trusted ARMY, perhaps felt like a safe space to let go. And when Jungkook appeared with shock and worry, It emphasized how sudden the moment really was. The moment also showed the dynamics of BTS member relationships. Jungkook, known as energetic and often the entertainer, appeared helpless facing Taehyung's tears. He wanted to approach, give support, yet realized the camera was recording his every move. That confusion was clear on his face, symbolizing the big dilemma: how to support a friend without worsening the situation before millions of viewers. Beyond fandom circles, the moment sparked wider discussions about K-pop idols' mental health. Many voices called for the public to be more cautious and pressuring, and for agencies to provide safe spaces for artists to express themselves without fear of judgment. Some experts even said Taehyung's tears could trigger a global conversation about the importance of mental health in Asia's entertainment industry. Undeniably, the incident also strengthened BTS's image as a group that speaks not only through music, but also through their emotional vulnerability. ARMY responded in their unique way, creating support campaigns, spreading positive messages, and affirming they love BTS not only on stage, but also in their most fragile moments. Now, the world waits. Will Taehyung return with a smile reassuring that everything is fine? Will Jungkook choose to speak, or let his gaze remain the only answer? And more broadly, will the entertainment industry learn from this event, or simply let it become a fleeting sensation? One thing for sure, that night on Weverse Live will never be forgotten. It was not just an ordinary broadcast, but a point where millions worldwide realized that behind the cheers of a stage, there are hearts that can hurt, friends that can be shocked, and humans who need space to cry.